Hello? Alright. So, I'm going to be treating this kind of like a normal video that I'm just doing live. So, it's going to be interesting because it's going to be public. I don't know if I'm going to put the actual video on unlisted yet. I might, like I've done in my other live streams. But today I'm going to be discussing, well, as you've seen in the title, some pretty interesting matchups. So let's see what the first one is. Actually, I'll update the text on the top two. So I'll have that say, let's say, Kashimo vs Jogo. Alright, so Kashimo vs Jogo. Alright, so Kashimo vs Jogo. Now, okay, this is a pretty interesting matchup, like very interesting actually, because I feel like a lot of people are going to side of Jogo, which is fair. I mean, Jogo's pretty crazy. He's got domain expansion, maximum technique. Kashimo has neither, you know, which is kind of a shame, but it doesn't mean Kashimo's weak. So this is a pretty big misconception I always see. It's that Kashimo isn't very strong because he lacks domain expansion, or he lacks quite a lot of things actually. I think he doesn't even have reverse cursed energy technique, sorry. So yeah, it's kind of bad, it's kind of unlucky, but that doesn't mean he's not strong. He is incredibly durable. So one theory I have, you know, this is kind of my personal preference, but it's that Kashimo might have as much cursed energy as Yuta, maybe more. Which, okay, I know that sounds crazy because Yuta's the guy who has the most cursed energy. He has more than Gojo. You know, Ryu Rishigori even said Yuta's kind of like a tank, you know, literally like a water tank because he has so much cursed energy. But the thing about Kashimo is that he is just, even without reverse cursed energy, he is just so durable. Actually, wait a minute, before I even get into this Kashimo wank, because I think he's stronger than what people say, let me take, oh, that's not a good idea actually, remove that. Okay, there we go. Alright, so Kashimo is, I think he's very underestimated because he doesn't have these high-end techniques, which granted doesn't let him go up against people like Sukuna or Gojo, you know. Okay, which is kind of funny. He's looking for Sukuna, and Sukuna would, I don't think he would low diff him. Personally, I think it would last a while, you know, it wouldn't be an instant death, but obviously Sukuna's gonna kill Kashimo. It's the unfortunate truth. But, he's not just gonna die instantly if he goes against someone like Sukuna. I mean, to be honest, he might. He actually might. Sukuna's just that strong. I mean, Sukuna toyed with Jogo, which is who Kashimo's fighting against. Okay, so the point is, Kashimo is not as weak as people think. He's incredibly durable, and you know, I think I might be wrong. It's just a guess, but he could have as much cursed energy, not output, but just cursed energy as Yuta, maybe more, because of just how, I mean, at the very least, we have to give it that, you know, he's the most durable character in the whole series. But without reverse cursed energy, like the amount of hits he's taken from Hakari, and he's just, really, I mean, his skin looks fine. I mean, I think his face is actually kind of bloodied up a bit, but that's pretty much it. Like, his face is torn. Okay, granted, the skin is torn a bit on his face, but he's pretty strong, I can't lie. Now, to go to Jogo, so I guess I should talk about how strong Jogo is. Jogo is incredibly powerful. So, as we've seen, he is incredibly destructive. He has a maximum technique, which, you know, we saw that giant meteor. That was his maximum technique. That was pretty powerful. I don't know what more to say. You've seen it. He has domain expansion, which has the guaranteed hit too, which, granted, Kashimo does have hollow wicker basket, so it wouldn't kill him right away. You know, Kashimo isn't defenseless against that. And Jogo, of course, being a cursed spirit, has reverse cursed energy. So we don't know how high of a level he had to add. So basically, having reverse cursed energy is one thing, but like mastering it and there's different levels of mastery. That's a better way to put it. So for example, most people have reverse cursed energy and can just heal wounds. The more advanced people can heal even poisons within their body. So that's a really high level technique. And I think an even more advanced version of that is to heal people with reverse cursed energy. We've actually only seen 2 people in the whole series do that, which is Gojo can't do that. That's the craziest part. Gojo can't heal people with reverse cursed energy. It's Yuta and that woman in Jujutsu Kaisen who heals everyone. So the girl who was a part of the trio with Geto and Gojo way back in the day. I don't remember her name. So, okay. But you know who I'm talking about. So the girl who smokes and was in the flashback. She and Yuta, so those are the only 2 people who can actually heal other people with reverse cursed energy. Which is pretty interesting because even Gojo can heal... I mean... Can Gojo heal people with his own reverse cursed energy? No, he can't. He definitely can't, because I remember Principal Yaga did say not even Gojo can do that. So Gojo can't. So, Jogo... Okay, the point is he can heal himself. Okay, I don't know why I went into that whole little rant about reverse cursed energy. Not rant, but tangent explanation. I guess that happens. But Jogo, a very similar name, he can heal himself. So there's that. And of course the thing about Jogo is he's either underrated or overrated in the whole series. So that for some reason there's no in between of this guy. There just isn't. So where do I think he lies? I mean obviously if you've seen my video where I power scale every Jujutsu Kaisen character, I thought he was high tier. I thought he's very strong. But I don't think he's as overpowered as some people grant him. I think Kashimo would put up an extremely good fight against him. And being honest, because I have to kind of think about this, I do think Kashimo could, okay, keyword, could beat Jogo. Now, the reason I say this is because one thing that we know is Hakari, in this whole fight, he has had his he has had infinite cursed energy for, I think it's a total of 12 minutes and 33 seconds, and Kashimo, not only has he survived the whole time, he is still winning. He is having Hakari on the back foot the whole time. So think about this. Kashimo has no reverse cursed energy, he has no domain expansion, he has no maximum technique, and he is absolutely dominating. Dominating is not a good way to put it, but he is definitely winning in this fight against Hakari, and he's had him on death's door far more times than I think we can count. So, actually, let me just... Not that. Let me bring up that. Okay. So, let me actually bring up... I really hope I don't get copyrights for this. Okay. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get copyright strike down. Okay, this is kind of dangerous. I'm playing a dangerous game. But the point is, right, so if we look over here, this guy, even after all of this with Hakari, this is what he has. So his skin is torn right here on his face, like quite a lot. Fair enough, that's quite a lot of damage. What else? Okay, he's bled a few times through his nose, like this, when he gets punched, and then across his face. But this guy is so durable. He is taking on someone with infinite cursed energy for 12 minutes, and he's still winning. What do you think he's going to do to Jogo? Plus he has his instant, win to, hit, where, let me just remove that, so I don't get copyright strike. It's probably over. Hey, it's probably the last time you guys hear from me. But the point is, do you really think this guy is gonna go down that easily against Jogo? That's kind of the truth. And not only that, he is one of the fastest characters we've seen in the whole series with his lightning. So I don't even think Jogo's maximum would hit him. That's the thing. I think it's a big stretch because the destructive capabilities and the area of effect of Jogo's maximum is pretty wide. So if he hits like Kashimo with that, I think Kashimo might die, you know? It's pretty fair to say. But could he avoid it? I mean, he probably could. He's very fast. And not only that, he does have his own one-hit KO. Not one-hit KO, but like kind of, I would even argue instant kill technique, where it's like a guaranteed hit with his lightning technique. So I actually do think he could he kill Gojo with that, with one hit straight to the head, like he did against Hakari? But Hakari survived because Hakari's got infinite cursed energy. But we know Jogo doesn't. It's tough. It's really tough because unfortunately in all of Jogo's fights he loses, so he doesn't look as strong as he. That's the thing. He looks very, very, very powerful because he's just so destructive, and he is powerful. That's the thing. He's one of the strongest characters in the whole series. But Kashimo is one of the strongest Jujutsu sorcerers in history, in all of history. Even that's the craziest part. He's this strong without domain expansion, without reverse curse technique, and without a maximum. So, okay, you can change my mind. I'm not 100% on this. I'm really on the fence, but I think if Kashimo can avoid his maximum technique, so the giant meteor, I actually think Kashimo wins. Because, okay, he has a domain expansion, but Kashimo has hollow wicker basket, so he kind of negates the instant, which it does take his cursed energy. But okay, you know, I'll leave it at that. If you disagree, that's fine. That's completely fine, actually, because I know Kashimo does not have many supporters. I think Jogo has way. I definitely think I'm in the minority when I say that, which is fair. I can see why I'm wrong, but I can see why I'm right too. So I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know about that one. So let's go Maki, Yuta. Okay, Maki versus Yuta. So this is a pretty interesting matchup because Maki is, let me save that. There we go. Maki is very, very powerful. She's actually, crazy enough, she is downplayed quite a lot in the fan base, like quite a lot. So people say she's not as strong as Toji, which is wrong. Like objectively, it's been portrayed she's as strong as Toji, but I would, so I mean strength and speed wise, I would put them on the same level. But Toji does have more experience with having a body this strong, and he does have a lot of experience fighting a lot of sorcerers because he was known as the sorcerer hunter. So I get Toji is, how do I say this? In terms of physical strength and speed, they are one and the same, but Toji is slightly stronger because of his fighting experience, because this guy has been hunting sorcerers and he's been alive for so long. So he's had quite a lot of fights. So I would put Toji just slightly above Maki. But that doesn't mean Maki is not strong. Maki is on the same tier as Toji. Like if those two fought, it would be an insane fight. A very, very close fight. So essentially this is Toji versus, okay, how about this? How about I actually update the text here and I put Maki / Toji versus Yuta. Alright. So, and I'll put that like, okay, maybe not that big. Maybe like over that. Okay. There we go. Is that good? I think that's good. Alright, so this is pretty hard to say. Yuta's very, very versatile. Very versatile. His cursed output is very good. It's very strong. Obviously, it's not Ishigori's level. Even Ishigori scoffs when he sees Yuta's output. He doesn't say it's horrible, but he just says it's not all that. Which, okay, compared to Ishigori, that's not a fair argument. Ishigori has the highest cursed output in all of history. it's highly likely Ishigori's output is higher than Gojo's, which I know is mind-blowing, or like, it's really upsetting to hear at first, because you're like, how is that the case? Gojo's the strongest. Yes, Gojo is far, far stronger than Ishigori. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying Ishigori is stronger, he just has higher output. So the reason I say this is because when Kenjaku says that Ishigori has the highest output in history, he says this knowing who Sukuna is. And he even mentions Sukuna later on to Kashimo on that same topic. So it's pretty interesting, I can't lie. Maybe because then Kashimo says it's dubious, but Kashimo doesn't know Ishigori, so it's not, we can't really take anything away from that. But the point is, Yuta's able to go hand to hand with this guy. Granted, he loses the hand to hands, but he's still able to, you know, tussle with Ishigori thanks to his just insanely high amount of cursed energy. So not output, but just energy, which Ishigori comments that it's like hitting against a water tank because he has so much of it. So with this in mind, obviously that's just the baseline. Obviously Yuta has high levels and mastery of reverse curse technique, to the point where he's not only able to heal toxins and poisons, which is very masterful, but even higher than that, he can use reverse curse technique on other people, which we see him do with Naoya. So Yuta, even greater than Gojo in terms of reverse curse technique, which is crazy. He has access to domain expansion, which we don't know what that does, but just knowing how strong Yuta is, you can just assume that it's probably deadly. I would really wager that his domain expansion has a one-hit technique, like a guaranteed hit technique, because he is just that strong. Seriously. And obviously this is not even including his biggest, I mean, Yuta himself is a monster, like seriously is a monster. This is not even including his other monster, Rika. So Rika, when he activates Rika, he has Rika for 5 minutes, and he is able to not only draw cursed energy from her, so in a sense, I don't want to say he has infinite cursed energy output, but it does get replenished on a similar level. But for the next 5 minutes, all of his cursed energy is replenished, and he just has more of it. Obviously, Rika is insanely powerful, as Ishigori himself said, that Rika might actually be stronger than Yuta, because Rika just straight up blocks one of Ishigori's cannons, so grandiose cannons, with her arm. All of this is beside the fact Yuta has mimicry, so he can copy curse techniques, not just for a fight, but he keeps them as well and can store them. So he is on some Crollo shit, you know, like he's got a whole arsenal of copied techniques that he can just use whenever he wants. Yuta's pretty stacked, you know. When I say all this, it doesn't really surprise me why people really think he's second only to Gojo, not including Sukuna, and why Yuta thinks he could actually kill Sukuna, actually. Not full form Sukuna, he thinks he could kill Sukuna with 15 fingers, which we saw 15 fingers Sukuna, which is very powerful. So 15 fingers Sukuna toyed with Jogo, so that is a pretty crazy statement, you know. I think maybe he could. Now, who would win between Yuta and Toji or Maki? The honest truth is, I genuinely do think that Yuta just stomps. Like, seriously, Yuta just really, I don't want to say it's an easy fight, because Maki or Toji in this case are strong, they're very strong, but Yuta is just a monster. Plus Rika, it would be a 2v1 in this situation. So obviously it doesn't really shock anyone, I hope it doesn't, that Yuta really dominates this badly. I know there's a lot of Toji fans who are not going to be happy when they hear that, but it's not that Toji is weak or Maki is weak, it's that Yuta's that strong. Now, a more interesting argument is, what if, let's say in this alternate world, right? What if Maki and Toji fought Yuta in a 2v1? What would happen in this case? So, okay, this is kind of a crazy hypothetical. So let me actually update the text here. So let's have that say Maki and Toji, right? So I think if this were to happen, it would be way more intense, because obviously Yuta does not have that advantage anymore of having it be a 2v1 if he's fighting one of them. So now he has to split basically all of his arsenals and capabilities between the two, right? Now, what does Yuta have against both of them? It's his domain expansion. So the issue that both Maki and Toji have is that, here's the thing, I don't know if this is true or not, but I mean, I don't know how true this is, but they don't seem to have any counters to domain expansions, which is kind of unfortunate, right? So we obviously saw this when Geto used one of his curse spirits that he had. So it was the woman with the fingers, if you remember, had like scissor fingers. She had an innate domain, so it wasn't even a true domain expansion. But Toji didn't have any counters to that. So that's the thing, because Toji's an assassin, right? He's a sorcerer hunter. He is not really a brawler. So even if it was a 2v1, let's say Maki and Toji versus Yuta, and I guess Rika in this case, right? Because they go hand to hand. Does the domain expansion just instantly beat them? Because they have no means of protection. So basically in Jujutsu Kaisen, I hope everyone watching this knows this, but, well, maybe you don't, which is fine, you know, which is why I'm here. I'll explain that. You can activate something called a simple domain. So this has three forms actually. So the first type of simple domain we saw with Miwa and her teacher, so the first grade sorcerer at Jujutsu High. I don't remember his name actually exactly, but a simple domain pretty much counters a domain expansion. So we also saw Meimei's little brother, Ui, I think that's how you say his name. It's a very silly name. Pretty much, it's like you have your own miniature domain, if that makes sense, and you can kind of counter guaranteed hits. But it doesn't counter all domains. So as we've seen of loop type domains, which is Hakari's domain expansion, it doesn't nullify the guaranteed hit there. And as we've seen with incomplete domains or specific domains like Higuruma's, or let's say an incomplete domain being Megumi's, if it's not a guaranteed hit, the simple domain isn't very useful. So the other types are also Hollow Wicker Basket, which is the same thing, but it's basically a simple domain of back in the day, you know, the boomer version. And we also have a special type of simple domain where it's also offensively used. So we saw, what was his name? Basically the head of the Zenin clan, so Naoya's father, I don't remember his name exactly. He has this type of domain where it's like an offensively based simple domain where it can attack guaranteed hits, which is very, very strong. So the issue is Maki and Toji don't have this. They do not have simple domains because they don't have cursed energy. If they didn't have cursed techniques, that's one thing, you know, that's one thing. But they don't actually have cursed energy to counter this. Now, in response, you can say that they have very sturdy bodies, so maybe they could tank the guaranteed hit. And obviously it depends on what Yuta's guaranteed hit is. Here's the craziest part, not the craziest part, but I guess the most intriguing part. What is Yuta's domain expansion? So I think we can make an educated guess and just say that his domain expansion has a guaranteed hit because he is just so powerful, and he's Gojo's teacher as well. But one thing we know is that guaranteed hits don't have to be like straight up physical attacks. So obviously we've seen this with Hakari. Granted, his was a loop type domain. His guaranteed hit is harmless, so it actually bypasses even the simple domains. We've seen this with Gojo. So Gojo's isn't physically harming you, but it's more of a psychological and mental attack to your mind, which is more deadly actually than even physical ones, because it's kind of like you can't defend against it, right? So that's actually a pretty interesting idea. If you had a simple domain, could you withstand Gojo's domain? I guess the answer is no, isn't it? Because we did see, if that was the case, Gojo, Hanami, and Choso would have just done that, right? Because they could even use innate domains on their bodies, not even full domain expansions. So I guess that's pretty crazy. Wait a minute. I just realized that Gojo's domain expansion bypasses even simple domains. Wait, what? How strong? Wait. Maybe it. Okay, I want to say maybe you could. I don't know actually. That's pretty crazy. That's something I'll have to think about. But the point is. Okay, I just went very off topic. The point is, Yuta may not have a physical hit type domain expansion. If that's the case, so we could theorize that maybe Yuta's domain expansion allows him to copy abilities. It's actually really likely that, not really likely, but really likely in my headcanon, right? That Yuta's domain expansion just creates either, I don't want to say a copy of him, because obviously his curse technique is mimicry, right? We've seen people make copies of themselves, being Fushidogo's domain expansion with his 10 Shadows Chimera Garden domain expansion. But what would, I want to say Yuji might create a copy of his opponent. Is that crazy to say? That if Yuji, let's say Yuji's fighting Jogo, just a random example. If Yuji activates domain expansion, Yuji, did I say Yuji? How long have I been saying Yuji? Oh god, Yuta, I'm sorry if I've been saying Yuji, very similar name. Yuta, okay, clearly I've been talking too long, sorry about that. If Yuta activates a domain expansion, right, it might create a copy of the person and help them fight him. So let's say Yuta activates domain expansion against Toji, in his domain, he would then kind of create like a mimicry of Toji. So it'd be like Yuta and Toji versus Toji, if that makes any sort of sense. Now that's actually just a random theory I have. His domain expansion could be anything, like seriously, he has so much cursed energy that he could make his domain expansion whatever the hell he wants. It's the truth. It's kind of broken, but the point is, his domain expansion would throttle both of these two. But there is an upside to this. It's that Yuji, I keep saying Yuji, they have a very similar name. Yuta's domain expansion, guaranteed hit, so obviously it's pretty likely he has a guaranteed hit. It will only hit one person. So we saw this with the smallpox deity Curse Spirit, which was special grade, which did have a domain expansion when it fought Ui and Mei Mei. So its guaranteed hit could only hit one person, right? So if you remember where it has the hammer, so it puts you in a coffin and it puts a rock above you and it hammers you down, or it was like it puts you in a coffin, hammers you down, and then puts a rock over you. And if you stay in the coffin for 3 seconds, you die. We know it's only one person. It is likely that, let's say it targets Toji, Maki could just go and then start brawling with Yuta. The issue is, we also have Rika, so we know for a fact that Rika can stay in the domain expansion, can actually be in it. So beside Yuta, having his domain expansion, he also has Rika to help him. It would just, okay, so let's say the domain expansion takes care of one of the people, so they're just preoccupied with that. Then you have Rika and Yuta fighting one of the other person that's left. So is it really crazy to say that Yuta beats both of them at the same time? Yes, but is it likely that he would? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I actually before I started going live, I thought that it would be a closer fight. I thought maybe if both of them took on Yuta, it would be close. And it might be, because these guys are pretty powerful. So it's just that domain expansion, and then Rika as well, like it being a 2v1. I really don't know. Because then it all comes down to, can they tank the domain expansion's guaranteed hit? Because they have very durable bodies. But then it comes down even further to, what is Yuta's domain expansion? So there's a lot of ifs and buts to it. But regardless, it's crazy. I think Yuta might win. If you have any arguments explaining why you disagree, please tell me. Okay, so Ishigori, and let's start this one. Uro versus Jogo, right? So this is a pretty interesting one, right? And I actually have some lore, right? Lore, if there's such a thing. Yuta claps, yeah, Yuta claps, man. You'd think it would be better though if it's two of them, but I just don't see what they can do against that domain expansion, you know? Yeah. But Yuta does clap. Okay, Ishigori and Uro versus Jogo. Actually, what I might say is, here's the thing. If we're saying this is a let me just clear this up now. If it's a 2v1, Ishigori and Uro donkey slap Jogo. I know many people are shocked when they hear this at first, but there is so much overwhelming evidence in favor of, if it was a 2v1, is what I'm saying, of these two just destroying Jogo. If it came to that it's crazy. I genuinely think, if you actually want me to, let me know if you disagree. I could actually make a 10-minute video with so many points explaining why Ishigori and Uro would beat Jogo. Now the thing is, when we actually first met Ishigori and Uro, so I know this because I actually asked online what people thought about Ishigori and Uro, sorry, not Ugo, that's a character from Magi. What if they fought Jogo? And everyone, even myself, I thought, okay, they probably will lose, because when we first met them, we didn't know how strong they really were. But as the fight goes on, we see Ryu Ishigori's cursed energy output, which is ridiculous. It's higher than Sukuna's and probably higher than Gojo's, as crazy it is to say. We know Uro is an absolute monster with high levels of high, not levels, sorry, but a high mastery of reverse curse technique. Her curse technique itself is insanely powerful, and she has enough cursed output energy to go hand to hand with Yuta. Granted, it was with the assist of her curse technique, but her curse technique lets her deflect anything. So so that's just kind of gassing those two up, right? So this is obviously beside the fact that both of them, at the very least Ishigori, I would say both of them, because Uro's as strong as Ishigori. They are the strongest sorcerers in their era. Some of the strongest, not just in their era, honestly, in all of history. They are, it's terrifying how powerful they are, both of them, right? So they obviously, what also assists this is that they both have high, I can't say high levels of domain expansion, it's not really something you can say. They both have mastered domain expansion, and they both are pretty nutty. Now, one thing you have to realize is that when they fought Yuta, it was not a 2v1. It was a 1v1v1. It was a free-fall. I promise you this. If Ishigori and Uro truly 2v1 Yuta and they teamed up to take him out, Yuta would be dead right now. Yuta would be buried 6 feet under. Is it really upsetting to hear? Yes. But that's kind of the reality. And it's not that Yuta's weak. I just spent 15 minutes hyping up Yuta, right? Of how Yuta destroys Toji and... Man, actually, I have to rethink my power scaling list after all this. But Yuta is not weak. It's that these two are powerful. And that the reason Yuta came out on top of that freefall is because of the fact that it was a freefall. That's just the reality of the situation. Because Ishigori and Uro were seriously damaging each other and were fighting each other quite a lot. If these two decided to team up, they would spank Yuta and bury him right where he stood. So that's what I mean in the fact that if it's both of these two, they would dominate Jogo, and I would actually say it wouldn't be a low diff. I would say with minimum difficulty, so it'd be a mid diff. They wouldn't exert that much strength. And here's the craziest part. It's that this is crazy. I think Uro, how do you say a name, could block Jogo's maximum. So Prodigy with an X says, "Hey, just came across your channel. What's up, man? What's up? I hope you've been liking the videos, enjoying them, you know. If you don't like them, that's fine. You know, I don't even know where I'm going with this. But I was just thinking about Jogo right now. But yeah, how you doing, man? Okay, wait. I kind of lost my train of thought for a moment. But okay, the point is, Jogo is gonna get his absolute cursed ass spanked by the two of these guys. They would actually roll him very badly. It is not that Jogo is weak. Jogo is one of the strongest characters in the whole series, arguably one of the strongest characters in all of Jujutsu history. It's just this is a 2v1 against two other sorcerers who were the strongest in their eras, with Ishigori having the highest cursed energy output in all of history, which is really, really crazy. Alright, so let me actually update this text here to have it say Ishigori or Uro versus Jogo. So it's a 1v1. So let me have this 1v1 so it's more clear. Okay. Now, this is a far more interesting discussion to have if it's a 1v1 between the two of them. I genuinely think Uro, so this is gonna sound really mind-baffling. Is that a word people use? Did I just make that up? So mind-blowing was what I was gonna say. So this is gonna be mind-blowing or baffling, whichever you prefer to hear. But I think that Uro has a better chance of beating Jogo than Ishigori. Now, I know this is crazy because Ishigori is, let's put quotes on this when I say this, stronger than Uro in the traditional sense, in that he has far higher cursed energy output. And I think the reason that he was afraid of Uro, not afraid, but he didn't want to take Uro on, is because Uro counters him very, very, very well. So Uro, if most of you, obviously you know this, but just a quick reminder, she has the ability to control the sky. So let me actually, I pray to God, right? I pray to, I don't know, what are the Jujutsu gods? That I don't get copyright strikes for this. If I do, was it worth it? Probably not. I'll take my chances. So let me get the chapter. So I actually remember, so 173 is when the chapter starts. 170, and it goes all the way to so Sendai Colony, so we can actually see, I guess 179, right? So Sendai Colony, let's go with this chapter. Let me explain what I mean of, okay, so not this. Next chapter. The thing is, Uro counters certain people with her ability of controlling the sky. So here's Uro. Very, very well. So it depends on who she's fighting. Now let me explain this. Uro, being insanely powerful, is a bad matchup against the cockroach cursed spirit. Even though she is far, far stronger than the cockroach cursed spirit. So if you don't know who I'm talking about, it's this thing right here that Yuta absolutely stomped. This thing is a bad matchup for Uro because the cockroaches can't really be reflected in the sky, if that makes sense with her technique, or it's just a bad matchup for her technique, even though she's far stronger than that. So Jogo has the worst luck. His only showings are against the two. Yeah, I was saying that earlier as well. When I was in the very beginning of the stream, it's very unfortunate because Jogo, he's in such an odd place, right? Where Jogo is, look at this. He is shown to be so powerful with his techniques because he is, but he also loses all of his fights because he takes on two of the strongest characters in history. Okay, one thing I'll say against Jogo, granted, I have Jogo as insanely powerful, one of the strongest characters, not just in the series, not just in the current era, but in all of history. Yuta thinks, granted, Yuta could just be wrong. Yuta thinks he could kill Sukuna with 15 fingers if Yuji were to transform. And here's the craziest part, Yuji actually agrees with that. You have to remember, Yuji knows how strong Sukuna is because he retains those memories when he goes back to his form. He remembers what Sukuna did when he transformed. Even seeing 15-fingered Sukuna just kill Gojo with ease, and his domain expansion, and he saw Sukuna 15 fingers beat Mahogora, that cursed spirit that Megami summoned. I think I messed up the name, but you probably know who I'm talking about. Yuji still thinks Yuta, who he did fight, could beat 15-fingered Sukuna pretty confidently. That is crazy. That's why I think Yuta is stronger than Gojo, even though Jogo. Oh my god, sorry, I keep getting that. The names are literally the opposite. Jogo, sorry, not Gojo. That's why I think Yuta is stronger than Jogo. So Yuta is powerful, and then we see Uro. So if we go here, she's going hand to hand with Yuta, but it's because of her cuss technique. That's the thing. So she's absolutely, kind of messing with him. And we have a technique explained here as well. So she is just very powerful. But okay, sorry about the big tangent. It was off your comment. Sorry, Prodigy. The point is, Uro, beside being insanely powerful, having domain expansion mastered, and having a extremely masterful level of reverse curse technique, and having a very high curse energy, like just amount in general, and as well her curse output is not bad at all. It's actually very powerful. She has a lot going for her. And this is all beside the fact that her curse technique, the sky, like this, is really, really, really strong. But emphasis on depending on who she's fighting. So even if she fights the cockroach curse spirit, which is weaker than her, that thing has an advantage against her. Simply because she can't reflect. Think about this. Let's say the swarm of cockroaches came at her. She can't reflect all the cockroaches. It's just a terrible matchup for her. So let's say she tried to reflect a cockroach in front of her. Thousands of others would swarm around her from behind her and it would do quite a lot of damage. So it's just a bad matchup. However, when she fights Ishigori, so someone who, let's say, has more straightforward attacks, or is kind of like one big attack, she excels so much against these type of characters. So even though Ishigori's blast would absolutely smoke her, even though she's strong, she could just deflect. So she actually just not only deflects it, she throws it back at Ishigori. So if I could, it was next chapter. So that's the thing. So obviously Jujutsu Kaisen, there are kind of power levels, I guess, where people have just more cursed energy output, thus they can beat certain other characters, right? That is a thing. But techniques are also important. It's very akin to Hunter x Hunter in the way, yes, if you have more nen, you just win, right? If you just have an overwhelming amount of nen, you can just kill someone, as we saw Pito versus other characters. But even if you have less nen, you can still contend, even beat characters who are stronger than you if your technique fits the situation or counters them. Jujutsu Kaisen, which if many of you don't know, also, takes a lot of inspiration from Hunter x Hunter in that way. It's very, 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 very well written. Hello there. Hey, pee pee poo poo. It's always funny to say that name. How you doing? I have not seen you in a while. Granted, I have not been streaming, and I have not been streaming games. You doing alright? So Prodigy says, it's like how Yuta has more than Gojo, but Gojo would still beat Yuta. Exactly so. Also because, here's the thing, because Gojo, because of his limitless technique and not because of his 6 eyes, but limitless specifically, he never runs out of cursed energy, right? So exactly like you say, Yuta may have more of it, but Gojo's not only never going to run out of cursed energy, Gojo's cursed output is insanely high. It's so high to the point where, I genuinely think if Gojo were to punch Yuta, could he just rip Yuta's armor? Okay, no. Now I'm going too far. I'm wanking Gojo too much. He wouldn't just rip his armor off, but it would be more like this. So you see what happens here? So they're kind of going hand to hand, right? So an Ishigori hits him, but his output is so much higher where literally he is fine. Look at him here. But his output is so much higher than Yuta's that Yuta just gets fucked. Sorry for my language. And smashes into the building. So I do think Ishigori in this case, let's be fair, I think he has more output than Gojo. Gojo is still way, 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 way stronger because of his plethora of hacks. But something like this would happen. Wait a minute. Let's see. Pipu says, been sick but doing better. How are you? Oh, I hope you get better, man. I seriously hope you can get better as soon as possible. Being sick is not nice. I'm doing pretty good too, thank you. I am just, as you can see, I am enjoying a lot of Jujutsu Kaisen. I really, really love Jujutsu Kaisen, a lot. And I was always worried about covering it on my channel because my channel is kind of like a Magi channel with a bit of Chainsaw Man. And, people actually like Jujutsu Kaisen, so that makes me happy. So I'm doing pretty good, but I hope you can get well soon, man. Being sick sucks, but once you're better, I hope you feel like 100 on that. This is an interesting stream. Yeah, I mean, it's not my normal streams talking about anime and manga, which I talk about in videos, but not in streams. Okay, so the point was, okay, sorry for the kind of going on a tangent. The whole point was, even though Ishigori is this powerful, Uro still is a bad matchup for him simply because of her technique of deflecting things. So even though his cannon, so which we saw, his cursed energy output cannon, absolutely would demolish her if she wants to, with her technique, simple as that, spin it around, right back at him, and he just eats it. That's more damage than Yuta did. So like, Ishigori was hyper clean. Look at Ishigori. My man looks like he had just taken back to back showers, and he's just fine, even after fighting Yuta, right? But then one hit of his own technique, granted from Uro, does this to him. Now, was this a 10-minute tangent? Yes. But the reason I say I went on this big tangent was to explain that Uro is a bad matchup for Jogo, in the same sense that she could deflect his cursed energy, like a literal beam of energy. She could deflect Gojo's, well, not all of his attacks. We've seen Gojo has some attacks, like the insect swarm one, and he also has, well, it depends. So he has some attacks which are like insect-like, which are bad matchup for Uro, which would do a lot of damage, but she could heal from it. But here's the thing, Jogo's main attacks would get deflected from this, and I want to even say Jogo's maximum technique would get deflected. As absolutely crazy as that sounds, and I might be wrong because it's just that strong, I genuinely think she could grab the sky and block it, or defend herself by covering herself in the sky. I watched your recent videos, but I can't understand because I either haven't read the mangas or I dropped them, Lamar. That's fine. I mean, oh wait, there's two comments actually. So first of all, people, I didn't know you actually. Oh, it's fine, it's fine. I mean, as long as you like maybe enjoy them. But even if you don't watch them, that's the thing. You don't have to watch the videos. If you're just here for the streams, man, that is way more than enough. Like I'm far like extremely thankful, even if you just do that, because you don't have to do anything, right? And then so thank you regardless. Like, don't worry if you don't watch the videos or even the streams. And then Prodigy says Jujutsu Kaisen is my favorite series out right now. Gege, I think that's how you say it. JJ Gege, I think it's Gege, has been writing 10 out of 10 chapters. Kashimo vs Sakari has been great as well. Yes, exactly. Jujutsu Kaisen is... Oh, sorry, I thought I heard the door ring at 6 a.m. I think I'm just a bit tired. But exactly so, man. Jujutsu Kaisen is just so gas. I have loved this series for so long, especially for like, I think it's been a year. I've just wanted to cover videos on it, but I've always been afraid that, people wouldn't want to watch it because my channel is not oriented to that, but people do, and it makes me very happy because it is not only one of my not only my favorite series in Jump right now, like by far and away, it is my top 10 all time, easily. Like the manga's top 10 for me, which I know is crazy. I'm just saying in terms of enjoyment, but it is very well written. So I get you, man. I feel the same, Prodigy. Okay, but sorry about another tangents, but going back to what I was saying, right? Also, one quick thing, it's 6 a.m. right now. Well, it's 5:59, so the stream might just cut off by itself when it hits 6 or 6:30, where I am right now, because I'm spending the summer kind of resting at my home country, so I live in Kurdistan. And there's this like crazy, this is crazy, right? Let me explain this. There's this crazy, not law, but kind of, I guess it's kind of like law, where during exam seasons for the people who are in the 12th grade, which is like basically university exams, for the whole month of, I think it's like end of June to end of July, basically the internet for the whole country of Iraq and this country, as my country as well, Kurdistan, the internet shuts off from 6 o'clock, like 6:30 to 10 o'clock in the morning, because basically the reason is they don't want people to cheat with exams, because a lot of teachers like sell like the answers or something, and I don't know, it's pretty crazy because people cheat a lot online because of this, because these are very important university exams. So you know, me coming from London, from England, like, because I haven't been in years, I'm like, what the hell is this law? What is this rule? The internet goes off for the whole country. Like, there's no 4G as well. There's no, you know, wireless internet. There's none of that. The internet goes off for the whole country, if you can believe that, from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. It's not every day. I think it's every other day. So, oh, sorry, I hit my mic. So, I don't know if it'll happen today. If I just cut off in the next 30 minutes, that's why. It's 7 a.m. right now. Oh yeah, I think I remember you were somewhere in like Madagascar or somewhere around there, like some of the islands, if I remember. Pee pee poo poo. What the fuck? That's crazy. I could have never imagined that happening here in America. I know, man. I know. Because I've obviously I used to come here every summer, but it's been a long time. It's like a recent thing. I've spent like 3-4 years primarily in London. You know, that's where I live. That's where I was born and raised, in Manchester specifically, though. But you know, when I came here, and maybe I'd forgotten. I guess this is a law, but like, no internet from 6:30 to 10. That's just crazy. Granted, it's for a good reason, right? You don't want people to cheat, but maybe people are cheating because the system is poorly made or the infrastructure is bad. I don't know, but imagine how crazy that is. Yeah, Prodigy and Pee Pee Poo Poo. Like, the whole country has no internet for 4-3 hours. Thank God it's in the morning, right? Which I guess is not good for me because I'm a morning person. But yeah, it's crazy. I live in the same country as one of your other viewers. Yeah, as a Dwani Breed. I think it's his name, Dwani Bread. So this guy is absolute legend. So he's always active. It was crazy in the Dark Souls stream. Yeah, it was crazy because both of you realized you lived in the same like island or country. I don't remember specific. I think it was country, like you say. Yeah, in the same stream. And there's only like 4 of us in that stream. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is pretty cool. It's nice talking to you guys. Okay, but I have to go back to the stream, right? So what I was talking about here. But yeah. Like I said, if you guys, even people who are just watching like the actual VOD, so the actual video when it's up, not like the people in live stream. As crazy as it is. Yes, in a whole country, or 2 countries, there's no internet for 4 hours. In a specific month because of exams. Yeah. Okay. Back to Uro versus Jogo. So the whole point was that Uro is just a bad matchup for Jogo because of her techniques. So, like I said earlier, Jogo has some techniques, like the fireflies, or like the insect swarm, that he used against... Okay, so... I'm not crazy enough to pull out anime videos. Like, that is a guaranteed copyright strike. I'm not going to play that on the stream. That would get my channel taken down by like 25 different companies. I mean, I'm risking it all right now with this manga panel. Well, I'm gonna go wake up and go to school. Good to have seen you back. Matt, I hope you have a good day at school and a great morning as well. And dude, please get better as soon as possible. Like, take care of yourself, because if your sickness does get worse, I think it's worth staying at home, you know. But yeah, I hope you have a nice day, man. It's good seeing you. But okay, back to this. Uro is just a bad matchup. Jogo has some techniques which do counter Uro, unfortunately, but he doesn't have like high level techniques which would just kill instantly, because we know Uro has just a nutty amount of reverse curse technique mastery. Like, it's crazy how well she is. She could regenerate her whole arm. Her whole arm. I think I forgot like the W. She could regenerate her whole arm, which granted is not like a crazy reverse curse technique feat, but it goes to show that she has that much cursed energy herself, that she has enough where she could just heal her arm, even after like expanding her domain expansion, being in a fight with Yuta and Ishigori and the cockroach spirit, and taking on a direct hit from Ishigori. She survived all of it and then healed her arm. Crazy, right? But yeah, granted we didn't see her heal her arm, but we know she can, and she definitely did. So that's why I think she could... I know it's crazy, so I'm not saying she's stronger than Jogo. I think they're on the same tier. That's the thing. Like if there was like a tier list, which I've actually done, I would put them on the same tier, but she would beat Jogo, even though I wouldn't say she's as strong as him, because she counters him. So that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, because it all comes down to what her domain expansion does, how the tug of war would go, and most importantly, could she deflect the maximum? But even if she couldn't, I genuinely think she could block it. Not block it, but she can't block that massive meteor. She could survive it by coating herself in the sky. I really want to see, so Prodigy says, I really want to see Maki show up in the culling games. She's insanely strong now. She definitely is. I think after well, not definitely. I'm not Gege. I might be. Hey, that's pretty cool if I was. But I don't know if she will for Sun. I think she will. I think after Hakari's fight, so obviously we've had Yuji, we've had Megumi, we've had Yuta, we've had Hakari. Who's left? All that's left is literally, and we also saw Panda, is Maki. And there is just no way in hell, like Gege is such a great author, that he would miss out on this opportunity to put Maki in one of the colonies. So here's the, like, I guess the hard part to say is that the strongest fighters were Higuruma, even though he wasn't that strong. And no, actually, I was about to say that the only people who are like plus 100 points were Higuruma and Kashimo, so they must be the strongest. That's completely false, actually, what I was about to say, because Uro and Ishigori, and I would say the guy who was in the deadlock with these two in the cockroach spirit, I think his name was like Durav, the guy with the Shikigami, I don't remember his name exactly, the one Yuta one-shot, or off-screen, not one-shot. These people, at the very least these two here, are way stronger than Higuruma. And listen, I am the biggest Higuruma fanboy out there. Higuruma is a top 3 favorite character in Jujutsu Kaisen for me. Like, seriously, like, I wish he was stronger. He's not weak. He's definitely not weak by any means, but he is not competing with these two. Yet, Higuruma had more points than these two. Like, a lot more points. Because these two, obviously I think they had like 60, 70, or maybe even 50. So I think like they didn't even have nearly as much points as Higuruma, who had over 100. But they were still stronger. So the whole point what I'm trying to say is that it's possible that there are people as strong as these two, maybe even stronger, in other colonies that we just don't know about, who don't have over 100 points for whatever reason. So because we've seen of Ishigori and Uro that this is the case. So if there are people in other colonies that are strong, which there definitely must be, because I imagine Kenjaku split the strong fighters pretty evenly, like distributed them all between the colonies. Maki could take on this like mysterious strong fighter or fighters, you know, it could be another freefall like with Yuta and these two, well 4 I guess in total. So I want to see that as well. I want to see Maki go in the culling game and just have like a crazy fight, seriously. And finally, because there are so many Maki downplayers or Maki detractors, if that makes sense. So people who think Maki is not as strong as Toji. Granted, Toji has more experience fighting many like sorcerers, so Toji has that, so he's slightly stronger than Maki, but overall they have the same physical strength and speed and awareness and sixth sense. That's all the same. But there's still a lot of people that think Maki's way weaker. I hope if Maki comes in the culling games, it can just show people how strong she really is. Like, seriously. I really don't want Gege to kill Kashimo. So this is Prodigy saying this. I really don't want Gege to kill Kashimo off yet. I really like his character. What about you? Kashimo is so cool. He's not... I was going to say he's not going to die. He might die. I don't know. I really hope he doesn't die. But I wouldn't mind if he died. Because that's just the type of series this is, right? If he dies in combat, I actually think... Like, I wouldn't be sad. Obviously, I'd be upset we lost this character. But I wouldn't be sad. Because this is kind of the way that Kashimo wants to go out. Kashimo wants to like go out against a super strong opponent. So, bye-bye. Wait, which chapter? Why is this called bye-bye? Oh, right, this was the Panda chapter. This was a very oddly placed chapter. Not a bad chapter by any means, but just pretty oddly placed. So the point is, Kashimo is just so cool. Beside his technique, it's his personality. So actually, let me go back here. Where he just has like these one-liners. He doesn't say much. He he's just so stoic, and usually that could make for a bad character, but Kashimo's is just so badass. Because the thing is, right, he isn't just, as we see here, right, he isn't just stoic where he's like, oh, everything's boring, or he doesn't show emotions. Kashimo is always smiling, you know, he has like kind of witty lines. So even I actually prefer the official's translation for this conversation here. Like, he's excited, he's very cheeky. It's so even though he's stoic, he has so much personality to him in his like expressions, and I love that. I seriously love that. This is how you make a good like stoic character who doesn't speak much. Look, this is all he says: no shit, fine words. But then in his thoughts, he's like, let's see if you can say the same thing when you die. And then I love this as well, when Hakari gets his domain, like his jackpot. Look at Kashimo's face. He isn't worried, he isn't stressed out, he doesn't even say anything. So it could be a boring panel where someone just looks on with no emotion. He's got like this, like, I don't even know how to describe it, like cheeky smile with like an eyebrow raise, like he's curious, but he's also playful. And he just watches Hakari get his music up, and then we see his inner thoughts, and it's like, this Kashimo is cool, man. Kashimo is just cool. I want to see him go out against Sukuna. I mean, if you say go out, like die, I think that's what you mean. Yeah, Sukuna would, unfortunately, I discussed this in the beginning, Sukuna would kill Kashimo. As sad as it is, I really love Kashimo. You know, even though he's like a killer, I'm saying I love this guy. I love as in his character. I really like his character is what I mean. He would just get destroyed by Sukuna. It's so sad to say, but like Sukuna toyed with Jogo that badly, and Jogo is I would say is a good match for Kashimo, even though I think Kashimo would win. Like, Kashimo is cool as fuck, man. But so I agree. If he went out against Sukuna, he got his wish. He got to see this overwhelming force and just died. I don't see how that could happen, because they're in separate colonies, and it seems like Hakari's gonna win this. But I would love if that's how he died. Because here's the thing, he's not gonna die. Look at this. He's not gonna die against Hakari, because Hakari needs his points. So, and he did agree that if Hakari wins, he would just give him the points. So it does seem like that's what's gonna happen. But let me scroll down to the next chapter. My God. I can only imagine this video is gonna get hit by like 20 copyright strikes from Shueisha and from Shonen Jump and everything, because I'm showing all this manga. I hope it doesn't. I really hope it doesn't. But so let's go over here. Like, I love this line, like this interaction here. So Hakari spits up the blood. He gets his let's just admit it. The author's wanking Hakari. He's giving him some luck, but we love it. We want to see this fight go on. He gets his jackpot because he has increased spins, not probability. So he doesn't have increased probability, increased spins, two different things. You know, Hakari's like, yeah, this man's dead. He's got his badass one-liners, how futile, all you can do is collapse now. By the way, I'm not showing the official translation because I know that has a higher chance of getting me copyright strike. Then Hakari spits out the blood from his mouth and he says, well done, Kashimo, I've never come this close to dying. And he goes on to say, do you like manga? No. That's it. He just says no. So Kashimo's cool as fuck. I agree with that. Oh, God damn it. I went on another... This is the issue. I keep going on these tangents when I'm trying to... You know, as you can see on the screen, the whole point is Ishigori vs Jogo right now. And I'm talking about Kashimo. And why I like his character. Fair enough. By the way, this chapter was great. It was really, really good. I like both translations. I don't think he would care if he died against Sukuna. He would probably be excited. I agree. I completely agree with that. Because it was like, I think it was Megumi says this to Yuji. I forgot Yuji's name for like 5 seconds. I forgot his name. He says it to Yuji before the fight starts, before they go into the colony, that a lot of the sorcerers from the past are looking for amazing battles to die. Like, these guys already died once. They are just looking for a place, like, have an all-out battle and just have a glorious death and fight. So Kashimo definitely, I don't think he has any plans of like living or surviving any longer. Like, genuinely, this guy wants to fight Sukuna, And he knows, like he does know, from what Kenjaku said, Sukuna's stronger than him. He just wants to go out having like an all-out fight against someone that powerful. So it would be great to see him die that way. And he definitely, I think that's what he wants as well. Because he's lived his life, and he's died and gone to hell once, and he was brought back, right, from purgatory. As Uro says, when you die, you come back from purgatory. Okay, but the point is, not including that whole tangent, Ishigori versus Jogo. Now this is it's really, really hard to rank this fight, because I just don't know how it'll go. They seem like, obviously not seem to be, I think they're both on the same level of power, of the same tier of power. But Ishigori doesn't appear to have reverse curse technique, but that's not an issue because of his insanely high output and his obviously insanely high amount of cursed energy. So he has more output than Jogo. Let's just get that out of the way first. So if it went hand to hand, he would dominate Jogo that way. But Jogo, his specialty comes with his insanely high destructive capability and his area of effect of his techniques. But that's the thing, Ishigori is a similar type of fighter where he has high DC. He doesn't have a big area of effect though. He does have a big area of effect, but that's not his specialty. His specialty is more like quality in the amount of power that he shows, right? Because his output is so high. It all comes down to, with every fight that I have Jogo being in, it's the maximum technique. Would the maximum technique just kill Ishigori, or could Ishigori counter it with his Garante Blast, or could he just avoid it? So obviously Sukuna avoided it, but Sukuna was far stronger than Jogo, sorry. Could he avoid it? Maybe, but could he just survive it? No, he couldn't, because that punch from Rika, granted he was caught off guard, and he had just come out of his domain expansion, did so much damage. I think the maximum would kill him if he just took it straight on. Could he push the maximum back with his Garante Blast? I don't think so. Because even Yuta, with the assist of Rika and himself, could... That's the thing. Ishigori's blast had more output, but if Yuta wanted to, he could output more of it because he can build up more cursed energy. So how does that translate to the maximum though? So the maximum, I think even if he fired that blast at the maximum, I guess maybe this is kind of like theory crafting right now, headcanony. Could it slow down the meteor? Could it crack the meteor in two? I don't know. That's... because it's a maximum technique, right? But we know maximum techniques can be dodged because we saw, I don't remember what's his name. So Miwa's teacher, so the first grade teacher at Jujutsu High, who specializes in simple domains, he dodged a maximum technique from Kenjaku. So it's just so hard to say, right? I think he could dodge it. Or at the very least deflect it, maybe slow it down or whatnot. But then it goes down to the domain tug of war, which... I think, so this is really, really, really crazy to say. I think Ishigori might win that tug of war. Why do I say this? It's because Ishigori is just a better one-on-one fighter than Jogo. And the issue is, I don't think Jogo can use his maximum while the tug of war is going on. I just don't think. It's possible that he could. I don't know for certain. But if he can't, then Ishigori might just kill him. Not kill him. Okay, it wouldn't be that. I make it sound like it would just be a loaded. It would be a high difficulty fight, but I think without the maximum in the tug of war, I think Ishigori would win that, especially if the tug of war ends and the domains cancel out. Jogo wouldn't be able to use his curse techniques right away because it does take a while to replenish, but Ishigori can, specifically because of his technique being that, of the cannon where he just outputs his cursed energy. So, is it likely that Ishigori would win? Yes, but it could go either way. I would say if they had a fight 100 times, I would give this is so hard to say because Jogo is strong. It's really hard to narrate it. I would actually say 50 would go to Ishigori, 50 would go to Jogo. Is that saying on the fence? I'm playing like devil's advocate. Is it a boring answer? Kind of. But is it the reality of the situation? Is it what I think? Yes, that's just what I think. So those are the 3 matchups that I said I would cover in the title. What other matchups are there to cover? I don't know, actually. I mean, there are so many fights in this series that I could talk about. So, do you guys, if anyone's, watching live, anyone have any good ideas on good matchups that could go down, or that you're curious about that I could talk about? So, there are quite a few. Gambling match. What is... Oh, this must be Yuji versus Hakari, right? Right, it was. So, actually, if I go to... I'll open another tab here. So, while I do that, actually, I'll have, like, a page open to make it look cool. I have, like, this... Okay, that's a bit too, I don't know. A bit too much. I'll have this Garante Blast. This is a cool panel. While I do it in the other... So, on my other, like, desktop screen, I'm going to open up a new window. If it would... Oh, whoops. Sorry about that. Let me move that here. I think open 2. While you guys look at that, I'm going to actually look for... Did I move it? Yeah, I did. I'm going to look through the JJK tier list. I mean, I could just end the live stream here, but I want to talk about one more battle. I want to talk about one more. So if I go to tier list, create Jujutsu Kaisen tier list, and I'll see... Okay. So here we go. I brought this up. This was my tier list, the controversial tier list. My god, did this get... Oh wait, I think I see one more comment by Prodigy. One question that's not on topic at all. Do you think there's anyone in JJK that has potential to become an honored one? The mindset like Sukuna and Gojo. So, this is interesting. Out of all the characters that we've seen, the only character that has the potential, potential to become that strong, is Yuta. But will he become that strong? The answer is no. So as we saw, let me actually open up this tab. So the point is, let me go to next page, next, and next. I'll show you what I mean really quickly. So it will help if I just have the actual panel that talks about it. If it would load. So was it at the end of this? No, it was actually the next chapter. So Yuta has the potential to become that strong? Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was going to say. So I was actually going to bring up that panel. That's what I was looking for. Chapter 181. Thanks for that. Let me find it. So you actually already know this. But just in case other people don't know what we're talking about if they're watching this. The point is, you'll reach your limit. So this is what Uro was saying. Oh no, I think Ishigori was saying that, but Uro had the same sentiment. So because he's too soft, the only people who are going to become Sukuna level, like the honored ones, are people who, like, with an overwhelming sense of self and a complete disregard for others, natural disasters. I think the point was Yuta has the potential to become that, but he just won't be because of his nice guy, very soft-hearted personality, like you said yourself as well. So, other than Yuta, who has the potential to become that, like an honored one, like, if he truly wanted to, just forget about everything. Because if Yuta really wanted to, he could, I know this is crazy, he could be as strong as Sukuna and Gojo. If he, gave Sakame, that's not the word, that's the wrong word. If he had succumb, there we go, English. If he had succumbed to, let's say, his own desires of overwhelming power, or if he wanted to become this strong, he could become this monster, but he just doesn't want to be. But beside Yuta, I would say no one else. As far as we've seen. As far as we've seen. Subcame, yeah. Sakame, I don't know. Listen, man, it's been an hour, 10 minutes. I'm a bit tired, just a bit tired. But yeah. It's possible that there have been sorcerers in history. Not possible, for sure. There have been sorcerers in history who have been on that level, because we know, this is so crazy to say, someone beat Sukuna, some Jujutsu sorcerer in the far past. This is still crazy. Everyone forgets this. When I tell people this, Megumi, I'm gonna say no. So we did see that Gojo said, this is just my opinion though, we saw that Gojo said in the past, a someone with the 6 eyes and limitless technique fought to stalemate and a draw, well they both died so it was a draw, with a previous user of the 10 shadows technique. So the point was Gojo was trying to say that Megumi had the potential to be as strong as Gojo. The reason why, obviously Megumi said that's not the case. He thought that the only reason this was the case was because let me actually bring this up. So, view chapter, so it's during what chapter was this? I can't bring the exact chapter, but basically when he's gonna die and he summoned Magora? I don't know how to say the name. You know, that monster who Sukuna beat, like the monster that had the 8-pass technique. Megumi's theory was that basically the person in the past who had beat the 6 eyes limitless person, basically summoned this creature and it just killed them both. That's just the theory. We don't know if that's true. If that's true, here's the thing, then what's likely is that the 6 eyes user in the past that was as strong as the 10 shadows user was someone who was only as strong as like the baby version of Gojo that fought Toji. So like Gojo, when he fought Toji, remember, he had only just unlocked reverse curse energy, didn't have a domain expansion, didn't have instant teleportation techniques, he didn't have his red technique, I think he got that during the fight, and he only had unlocked hollow technique. So if we're saying that in the past, the user was only as strong as that version of Gojo, then Megumi could become like special grade easily. He has the potential to become special grade. He has the potential to become as strong as Yuta. But like an honored one, like Gojo is in all of history, he is like top tier. So does he have that potential? I just don't think he does. I think he has the potential to become like as strong as Yuta, but yeah, Gojo didn't have mastery over 6 eyes and limitless. Exactly. So when Gojo said that in the past, a 10 shadows user and a 6 eyes limitless user killed each other, it could have just been a user who didn't have mastery over these things. Because if Megumi's theory is correct, and the cursed spirit that Megumi summons to like kill himself basically was the thing that killed the 6 eyes user in the past, then like think about this, Gojo would donkey slap these, like, what is this creature called? So let me just search it. JJK Mauraga. Okay, so Mauraga. If Megumi's theory is true, let me come here, images, so this thing, right? If Megumi's theory is true and this thing was responsible, this is very small, this thing was responsible for killing the 6 eyes and the past 10 shadows user, then that 6 eyes user was just not as strong as he could have been, or had just died young. So like a baby version of Gojo, if that makes sense. So the Gojo who fought Toji, because current Gojo would destroy this thing. Like, that's just the truth. Okay, I went on another big tangent, but the point is there have been sorcerers in the past who have been as strong as Sukuna, and even maybe as strong as Gojo, because remember, someone beat Sukuna in the past. A Jujutsu sorcerer beat Sukuna. So if I go back all the way to chapter, I think it was chapter 2, was it, where it was explained? But so many people forget this, like seriously, it's crazy. So let me try and find exactly where someone actually had beaten Sukuna in the past. Was it said anywhere here? I can't. I mean, if you remember what I'm talking about, it was somewhere along the lines of here, where I think the anime showed it better. I can't play the anime though. I'm gonna get copyright striked if I play the anime. Didn't all the best sorcerers jump Sukuna to beat him? I don't remember. Was that the case? Hold on. I wish I had the exact panel where it said that. If that's the case, then fair enough. If that's actually what happened. The way I had remembered it, because I remember the anime had this still, where the anime showed it was kind of like one sorcerer, or it's like a sorcerer and his apprentice, had just beaten him. It's like one guy versus. I might be wrong, so let me search. What did I search? What does that mean? Sukuna versus. No, Sukuna anime. So let me try and find this. This is the thing. Trying to find this on stream is a nightmare. Sukuna, where it shows like this image where he fights like this, where he loses. I think it was one sorcerer in that image of the anime. Okay, yeah, this is, without playing the anime, this is gonna be too hard to find. It's gonna be too hard to find. But the point is, it's possible that there have been people as strong as Gojo and Sukuna in the past. So let me cross that out and open this. It's possible. But they just died or didn't want to be reincarnated with Kenjaku's offer. So anyway, going back to, because I don't know if what you said is true. I mean, you might be right. I don't remember if it was like Sukuna was jumped by a whole bunch of sorcerers. That makes far more sense if that's what happened. So anyway, with the characters here, actually some things I want to change. So obviously this isn't a part of my video anymore, but obviously I would move Kenjaku. So no, Geto probably comes around like, does he have domain expansion? He doesn't, but he has a maximum. I would say maybe like around here, maybe I would put him there. Kenjaku would come around, let's see, you can't see? Oh right, I think it's too small. Thanks for calling on that, by the way. Let me make this bigger. Okay, how's this? Is that better? Can you make your tail big? Yeah, sorry, I just saw that. There we go. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie. I've actually thought like a lot about this. I would probably change it to this. Like even though Uro would beat Jogo, she's just like a better counter. Kashimo would fall. This is tricky because Kashimo's a. Okay, this is Hakari would fall around here. This looks so bad. Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. This doesn't look good. This does not look good. It doesn't make some of it. Okay, so assuming Hakari has infinite jackpot, so I'm saying Hakari in its jackpot state comes here. Actually, could I just add like another? I can't. I don't think I can. I wish I could just add a row above. I can just add another row. Okay. So let me move this here. Wait, this ended up turning into me editing my my power scaling list. Oh my god, what am I doing? But actually, Prodigy, by the way, if you have like any thoughts or disagreements on this, let me know. So high-end, so I'll put like super